everybody, and welcome to Krista So Crafty. I'm Krista and I appreciate you joining me here today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Sure would love it if you would join our family. If you would like to see more of my videos coming up in the future, all you have to do is click that little bell and YouTube will send you a notification. So thank you, and let's get right on into the video. So in here I have 1 tablespoon of yeast, 1 tablespoon of just a white sugar, and 2 cups of warm water. And I'm just mix them together and letting them sit for 10 minutes. I just wanted to show you how it's kind of sitting in there and bubbling. And alright, so the 10 minutes is up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add 4 cups of flour. It says to add 5, but I'm going to add 4 right now, just so that we can get this started, and then I'll keep that last one and add it in as we need it. So that's 2. I'm trying to do this, record with my right hand and scoop with my left hand. We'll see if I can do this. I think I'm going to have to put you down for 1 second. Sorry, my flour bin is just about empty. So this is number 4. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of salt into this mixture. And again, look, I just keep my salt in a big jar here, so see if I can. That's 1. And 2, and somebody must be outside because you could probably hear my puppy dog barking. Alright, and we're going to add in 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Ooh, that's really close. Sorry, guys. That's 1, 2. And you notice when I put the salt in, I put it on top of the flour, not in where the yeast was, because salt will definitely kill your yeast. But that's it for now. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to raise up my bowl, and I'm going to turn my sorry about the noise. I'm going to turn my KitchenAid just on low, just until the flour gets mixed in. So I'm just going to kick the speed up to 2 on the KitchenAid and let this get mixing together. And now I'm going to start adding in some more of that last cup of flour. Just a little bit at a time, just to let the flour get mixed in with the rest of the ingredients. I just wanted to point out that with a KitchenAid, you should never go above a level 2 on the speed when you're making dough. It says right in the instructions not to do that. I'm guessing that it might burn out the motor or something. I'm not sure. Anyways, my suggestion is not to go any more than 2, and you should be good. So just keep adding a little bit more flour, smaller amounts now. Just let the flour mix in with the dough, and we will check it in a few seconds here. Shut that off for a minute. Another test that you can do is just to reach in here and give it a poke, give it a squeeze. See how it's still sticking to my finger? It's not ready yet, so we need to add some more flour. So I put my mixer back on 2. Add some more flour. The amount of flour that you're going to add to your bread will be determined by how much moisture is in your house, how warm it is. There's lots of variables that go into it. My house is kind of chilly right now. It's been snowing off and on all day today. Yesterday was what, April 10th, I think, or 11th? Yeah, we got quite a bit of snow. All our snow was gone, but It's gonna come back now, so I don't think it's gonna last, but I can usually make this bread dough, which is gonna make 2 loaves, with four cups for sure, but 4.5 to 4 3/4 of a cup. I've never ever had to use the full amount of flour yet, so I think that right there is going to be enough flour. I'm just going to let this mix in together, pull off your edge on the edges, see over here on the edges. You want that kind of pulled off. It's looking pretty clean right now. Okay, let's test that one more time. So again, I'm just going to take and I'm just going to squeeze. Oh no, see, look, it's still sticky. We don't want that. So a little bit more. Oh, there we go. See how now I can touch it and it's not sticking to my finger? That's what we want. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this mixer back on and I'm going to let it knead for 5 minutes on number 2 speed. Okay, so again, don't go past the 2. And that's about how much flour I have left. About I don't know, 1/4 of a cup maybe. I'll just pour that back in there. Anyways, I'm going to turn this on, let it go for 5 minutes, and I'll come back when it's all done kneading. It's all done. Well, this part of it. So it's all kneaded. So now I'm just going to take this off of my mixer. And I'm going to take the dough hook off and I'm going to turn it out onto my table. All right, here's our beautiful dough. And I'm just going to give it a couple kneads with my hands just to make it nice and smooth. As you do this, it makes it so nice and smooth on the top. Look at that. So nice. So just going to shape this into a ball. All right, so here I'm going to take my much loved bowl and I'm just going to put in a couple tablespoons of olive oil, and then I'm just going to pick up this bread, this dough, and put it the top down and just kind of mix it around. Now, I just want to give you guys a hint. Normally, I would just take this and I would put it back in the same bowl. I put some oil in the bowl that I was using to mix it with on the KitchenAid. But I put it in the sink without even thinking, and we don't want it in there. So, make sure that it's all covered in some oil. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it with a tea towel that I've made wet. All right, so I've covered up my dough and I'm just going to take it and I'm going to place it in the oven. Way at the back, right by the light. And I'm just going to let it sit in there for 30 minutes. So I'm just going to set my timer. And I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, timer has gone off. The dough has been in the oven for a little over than 30 minutes, maybe 35 minutes. I was busy when it went off. And your dough should look something like that. Should have just about doubled or more than doubled. Okay, which it looks so good. So now what you need to do, of course with nice clean hands, you're going to punch down the dough, so to speak, okay? You want to get as many of those air bubbles out as possible, because those air bubbles are not your friend. Air bubbles will cause pockets in your bread, and you'll have the big air pockets. Okay, so I got all the air pockets out, and I'm just going to turn this out onto my surface. And I don't have any flour on the surface or anything. And now I'm just gonna kind of knead this a little bit make sure I get all those air bubbles out. This is the last step that I missed the last time I made bread. And in the first time in years and years and years, I ended up with a big pocket of air in my bread. Now, still tastes great, but... All right, so here's my dough. And so what I'm doing is, like I said, this is gonna make 2 loaves of bread. So I'm just kind of shaping it. And I just have a little tool here, and I'm going to cut this in half as best as I can. And I'll set this one aside, and I'm going to work with this one. And now I'm just going to make it into a bit of a rectangle, pushing out the dough as best as I can. I have 2 pans ready to go. Yes, they're Tefal, but I still give them a light coating of spray. Okay, and I need to make a loaf that's going to fit in here. Okay, turn my camera a bit there, sorry. Okay, so now just using my fingers to push this out a bit, roughly about what I need. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this up and I'm going to pull back. Roll up and pull back. Just do that all the way. This helps to get rid of any air bubbles that are in there. Okay, and on the back side where that seam is, you're just going to go along and you're just going to pinch it. Now, because there's oil from the bowl, it's going to be wanting to come apart, but just show it who's boss and put it together. Okay, and I'm just going to turn this over and nice shape it into a pan. And what I like to do is on these ends, just kind of poke in the ends and pull this around to the back where the seam is, so it's nice and smooth. Same as on this side. Just kind of poke it in and pull it up and then pinch it. You're just looking to get a nice oval, oblong, whatever the shape is. Okay, just like that. I'm gonna put it into my pan and just set it to the side, and I'll move on with the other one. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to take both loaves of bread and I'm going to sit them beside each other, and I'm going to cover them up with the same towel, and we're going to let them rise for another 30 minutes. So the bread is all done. To tell if it's done, just it's got to sound hollow. Anyway, so what I like to do is to take and put some butter on the top of both of the loaves, just so that it just makes a softer crust is all. And I'll do that to both loaves. This is a nice loaf of bread. It's great for sandwiches. And the bonus part is your house smells amazing while it's cooking. So very You should really let your bread cool down before you slice into it, because if you don't, the steam that will come out is letting all the moisture out, and then that's how your bread can be dry. So I like to wait until it's cool. Now, that being said, can we always wait until it's cool? No, because who doesn't love fresh baked bread? So I'm just slicing the bread here, and as you can see, it's slicing beautifully. I'll show you a slice here in 1 second. Look at that bread. Like, isn't that just so pretty? And it's so moist, it's so nice. And no big air pockets. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. All right, well, I'm going to slather some butter on this slice of bread here and try it out. But I can tell you right now, it's gonna be fabulous. Thank you once again for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or just have a comment, please leave them in the description box below. And I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. That helps my channel grow. This is our little Tux, and he is the one that you can quite often hear in my videos, yawning or whining or barking, but it's his way of saying hello.